sometimes you got to have mediators to make things make sense to certain people. And hopefully this show becomes that. This will become that. I know that. I believe that. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this together, right? That's why we're all here.
Oh my God, it's W3bbie! W3bbie!
Everybody, welcome to the pilot episode of The W3bbie Show. My first attempt at a podcast. A little nervous, so this first episode might be a little shaky because it's just me. But in the future, you have interviews to look forward to. Really cool conversations I plan on having with some great minds I've met over the last, year to a decade plus with some of the guests. So I'm really looking forward to that and having these conversations. That's really what this is about, and preserving these conversations is really what it's about. As you can probably tell by now, the W3bbie Show is powered by W3bbie, W3bbie.xyz, and that's W3bbie with a 3, W3bbie.xyz. That is been my love child, my everything for the last about 2 to 3 years now. It's what I've been building with some amazing minds and an amazing community, a very diverse community. And, we've been able to do some cool things leveraging tech over the last 2 to 3 years. And that's just been great. So, now we're in a place where we are kind of pivoting from a development studio, like a Web3 development studio, which is what we've been the last few years. Now we're pivoting into more like media and hopefully overall long-term decentralization, right? A DAO, for those of you who know what that is. And if you don't, it's cool. That's a part of this as well, right? I don't know what that was. That is some of the intent behind this show, is educating people casually and kind of removing the fear from a lot of these tech-related industries or, communities or spaces where there's, blockchain-based NFTs, crypto, or AI stuff, or, VR and AR stuff. Having these kind of conversations, I'm hoping, will remove a lot of the fear for people who are not already inside the space. That is a goal of mine. I did not introduce myself. If you do not know me and you are getting hip to your boy for the first time, I am Travis Rice, better known online as Big Trav, Big Trav 205 to be exact. A lifelong entrepreneur and artist. Literally the kid selling Kool-Aid on the school bus to now heading this brand that is W3bbie, this really cool community experiment. I love traveling. I love sports. I love music. I create visual art. I have a background in design. I've spent time in real estate investing. I've done a lot of things, but nothing has excited me like these last few years of my life and like this whole emerging tech scene. It kind of started with crypto and the blockchain and NFT and that craze of the last couple years. And it has evolved into now, a lot of these AI tools are incorporated. Even the coding and the back end of things are exciting to me now because of W3bbie and the projects I've been a part of over the last couple of years. Whereas before I was more on the front end of things and design. So yeah, I'm eager to share all of that, my experience, my journey, along with others, and how that relates to my journey and how that doesn't relate to my journey, and about their journey completely as well, and just how they ended up in these really cool spaces. Because a lot of these people I meet are unicorns in my eyes. They really are, especially in a lot of these spaces. So that is a little breakdown of myself and W3bbie and the W3bbie Show and what's to come. We're going to start with a series of interviews I'm going to call Leaders of the New. I was going to call it Leaders of the New Internet, but it's like, really, these are people who are leaders of just the new, whatever that may be. Things related to the internet, things related to IRL, things related to, social media, events, sports, whatever. These are the kind of conversations I'm going to have with, our guests coming up. So that's, something to look forward to. I said earlier that one of the big things I want to do is remove the fear from coming into spaces like this if you're from marginalized communities, right? I think people in marginalized communities are getting to these kind of spaces in the tech-related fields later than our cultural counterparts. And I think a lot of that is based off of fear of not understanding, because there's a lack of representation. A lot of times with that lack of representation, there's just a loss in translation a lot of times, right? And sometimes you got to have mediators to make things make sense to certain people. And hopefully this show becomes that. This will become that. I know that. I believe that. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this together, right? That's why we're all here. And yeah, because I think there's advantages in being in these kind of spaces early. I personally benefited from them. I've seen it firsthand, and not only myself in my life, but others, my peers, over the last handful of years. So I want, my community, I want these other marginalized communities to be aware of that and not be afraid to come and participate early, where there's so much ceiling for opportunity. I truly believe we're moving into the next phase of not only the internet, but like because of the internet culture. And it's exciting. If you know what's going on, it's hard not to be excited by it. It can be a little fearful, like I said, if you're on the outside, but I think the more I learn personally, the more a lot of that gets removed and it's replaced with excitement. So one of the things I'm most excited about in this space is decentralized communities and organizations, right? We've been in a time now where everything's owned by central entities, and you got your 1% or whatever, who's owning everything. But we can kind of ideally move more to a more equitable playing field, more level playing field, if you will, with decentralizations. W3bbie's ultimate goal is to be decentralized. We are working to that. Join our Discord if you have any interest in that, and being a part of a decentralized community where you can come and help out and build and be just as much of an owner as everyone else in the community. That's really what we want. That's what we like to see. One of the models that we have been using, or kind of a North Star for us that we're looking towards, is the Nouns ecosystem, Nouns DAOs, specifically Lil Nouns, right? Who are one of the sponsors for our upcoming Leaders of the New series. So you'll be seeing ads from them. I'll actually premiere the Lil Nouns ad in this episode at the end of this, towards the end of this episode. So yeah, but basically Lil Nouns is a DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And what that really means is a community-owned community in its simplest terms, right? It's a community that is owned by the community. Well, how are you in the community to own this community? And they do that through membership, right? Like a lot of communities do. And their membership is digital tokens or NFTs. And you buy a membership. They auction off one membership every 15 minutes forever. They're all one of one visually. So you get a cool little Lil Nouns character on your token. And they auction off one every 15 minutes. You can get a membership that way, or you can buy it from someone else who already owns a token, who might have a plethora of tokens. And with that token, you can vote on things that the community is doing with the funds that has been allocated to a treasury from all of the purchases of memberships. So every percentage of every piece of any purchase you make, whether you buy it one of the tokens that comes out every 15 minutes, or you buy your token from someone else, those funds go to a treasury that is owned by the community. And that is kind of the ownership thing of this. So like it's a shared bank account basically for this brand. And that token allows you to vote on what gets done with these funds all the time. This is how the brand builds itself. This is how the community grows, where there's marketing or products, for internal use, or organizational things or operational things, right? People can submit ideas, and the community, meaning people who own these tokens, votes on whether they want to pass this idea or not pass this idea. And if the idea gets passed and requires funding, it will automatically go to whatever the proposer's wallet address or kind of crypto bank account. We'll get to all that stuff in later episodes for those of you who don't know what a wallet is. But basically, idea like your crypto bank account, the funds automatically go to it when it's passed. And it's kind of it's very hassle free, right? to an extent. And that's cool. I think that is exciting. I think, it's DAOs are a newer model of, community and organization. But I have, after participating in it recently, I don't think it's perfect, but I think there are solutions there for sure. Solutions worth being explored, and it's going to take more minds and more diverse minds to come into the space to build, and experiment and do all the things necessary to work out the kinks and, iron out the wrinkles of these new concepts and ideas. And I think we can ultimately go towards a more productive world that way. At least that's what I'm hoping. And, ideally, who knows? We'll see. It's still early. It's early. So, yeah, so that's basically what Lil Nouns is about. It's about funding ideas that promote the brand. And, examples of ideas they've funded already, they got an upcoming skate jam that Lil Nouns has funded that's going on in Chicago at a crypto conference later this month. They have given sleeping bags to the homeless en masse down in Brazil. They funded music libraries with royalty-free music for anyone to use, CCO, so it's, free usage for anyone. And other cool things like a beverage brand. Lil Bev's recently just launched, and it's a beverage brand that is funded by Lil Nouns because somebody had an idea to promote the brand by creating a drink brand, and it was voted on by enough members to pass, and it passed, and now that proposer is creating this drink brand that is ultimately promoting the community. So more people will join, and we can continue to add funds to the treasury to fund cooler and bigger ideas. So that's hopefully, a good little breakdown for anyone who doesn't know what a DAO is or isn't, familiar with Lil Nouns. That's hopefully I did a good job with that. We'll see. I told you guys I had an ad that's going to be playing throughout this podcast series this season because Lil Nouns is one of the sponsors for this pilot episode and episodes to come. So here it is. I'm going to play it now. Lil Nouns is a community that is shaping culture by funding one idea at a time. Ideas like a free-to-use music library and skate park makeovers in Brazil are just a few ideas funded by Lil Nouns. Join Lil Nouns now at lilnouns.wtf. That's LILNOUNS.WTF. There it is. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you, Lil Nouns, for being an awesome community. I love being a part of the community. Looking forward to building bigger and better ideas and making the world a cooler place, a more nounish place. And yeah, that's the end of this episode. It's just a pilot episode. The W3bbie Show. And just to give you guys an idea of what's to come. Really cool interviews, right? Conversations with Team W3bbie, our competitive hacking team. We didn't even get into that this episode, but I'm super, excited about introducing people from our team to our audience. And just a bunch of other cool things. We'll recap, conferences that we attend, the latest that's going on in the space, and what's going on in culture, how that pertains to culture, the everyday, our everyday lives. That's what this show is about, just connecting those dots and really sitting at that intersection of culture and emerging tech and giving you our account of what's going on, right? And I'll be your host the whole time, Big Trav 205. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to follow W3bbie at W3bbie_XYZ on Twitter, and then W3bbie.xyz on Instagram. Our website is also W3bbie.xyz. You can join our community there. You can apply to join. It is free to join our community, but you do have to apply. And you can also subscribe to our newsletter that we will be putting out weekly at our website, and follow us on our socials there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, boom, that was the perfect sign. I'm knocking stuff off of my desk. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the pilot episode of the W3bbie Show. Looking forward to doing more of these with you. See you next time.
Oh my God, it's W3bbie! W3bbie!